Let me tell you about silence, strategic silence, Red Sea silence, 2024, 150 Houthi attacks on commercial vessels, missiles, drones, small boats, Red Sea chaos. 2025, 7 attacks, 84% reduction. This sounds like victory, sounds like success, sounds like Houthis were defeated, were contained, were neutralized. But those 7 attacks sank 2 ships, killed 4 mariners. 1 attack lasted 16 hours. Small boats, then missiles, then drones, crew abandoned ship, ship sank. So fewer attacks, but deadlier results, less noise, more destruction. Strategic recalibration, not defeat. This is what I want to talk about. Not Red Sea crisis, but what silence means in this crisis. What quiet reveals. How perception of risk operates. How proxy warfare functions. How global chokepoint becomes leverage. Balkan, because mainstream media says Houthi threat declining, attacks down 84%, crisis easing. But shipping data says transit still down 50% from 2020, insurance rates still elevated, major companies still avoiding route, crisis continuing. So which is true? Are Houthis weaker or stronger? Is Red Sea safer or more dangerous? Is crisis ending or transforming? Let me show you what is really happening, what silence actually means. Why quiet is weapon, not weakness. First, the numbers that mislead. What 84% reduction hides? 2024, 150 attacks, missiles fired at commercial ships, drones launched, small boats approaching, constant activity, high volume, maximum noise. Result, 4 ships damaged significantly, some abandoned, some salvaged, but most attacks intercepted, most missiles destroyed, most drones shot down. 2025, 7 attacks, 93% fewer, massive reduction. Looks like success. Looks like Houthis ran out of weapons or lost capability or were deterred. Result, 2 ships sunk, 4 mariners dead, others rescued after 16-hour ordeal. Higher casualty rate, higher success, higher lethality. So which year was more dangerous? 2024 with 150 attacks or 2025 with 7 attacks, but 2 ships sunk? From volume perspective, 2024 more dangerous. More attacks means more threat. From effectiveness perspective, 24 more dangerous. Higher success rate means better targeting, better tactics, more lethal. This is genius of strategic recalibration, reduce volume, increase effectiveness, less noise, more results. Fewer attacks make each attack count, make each attack succeed. And this confuses defenders, confuses media, confuses analysis. Because we measure threat by volume, by frequency, by noise, not by effectiveness, not by lethality, not by results. So 84% reduction looks like victory, but is actually transformation. From spray and pray to precision, from maximum pressure to strategic strikes, from deterring everyone to sinking selected targets. This is not weakness, this is sophistication. Second, target shift from commercial to military. 2024. Houthis attacking commercial vessels constantly. Any ship with Israeli connection, any vessel bound for Israeli ports, maximum targeting. US Navy responds, shoots down missiles, destroys drones, protects shipping, Operation Prosperity Guardian, coalition effort. Houthis realize we cannot defeat US Navy in direct confrontation, cannot sink warships, cannot overcome defenses. So attacking commercial ships just shows our weakness. 2025 strategic shift. Start targeting US warships directly, not to sink them, to engage them, to force them to expend resources, to demonstrate capability. Harry S. Truman Carrier Strike Group, attacked multiple times, close calls, evasive maneuvers, 1 aircraft lost, but no ships damaged, no sailors killed. Houthis cannot penetrate carrier group defenses. But that is not the point. Point is engagement. Point is forcing response. Point is demonstrating that we can reach you, can threaten you, can make you work. Then May 2025, ceasefire between US and Houthis. Attacks on US warships stop. But attacks on commercial vessels continue, selectively, strategically, carefully. So what was achieved? Houthis stopped wasting weapons on targets they cannot hit. US Navy stopped being primary target. But commercial shipping still threatened, still vulnerable, still avoiding Red Sea. This is perfect proxy warfare, not fighting superpower directly, but making superpower expend resources while maintaining pressure on actual target, which is not US Navy, is Israeli shipping, is global commerce, is perception of risk. Third, July attacks, Magic Seas and Eternity Sea. What these revealed? July 6th, Magic Seas, Greek-operated bulk carrier, Liberian flag, had visited Israeli ports. Houthis say this violates our ban. This is legitimate target. Attack begins, small boats approach, not just observation, actual boarding attempt. Crew sees boats coming, realizes danger, calls for help. Then missiles, then drones, multiple waves. Coordinated attack. Crew abandons ship, rescued by nearby vessels. Ship sinks. Next day, July 7th, Eternity Sea. Also Greek-owned, also Liberian flag. Also visited Israeli ports. Same pattern. Small boats first, then escalation. But this time, 16 hours. 16 hours of attack. Crew fighting, resisting, trying to survive. 4 mariners killed, 4 dead, rest rescued, ship sunk. Notice what this demonstrates. Notice what this proves. Houthis can sink ships, have capability, have determination, have tactical sophistication, not random attacks, coordinated operations, small boats for close approach, missiles for damage, drones for persistence, multiple phases, extended duration, professional execution. This is not ragtag militia firing missiles randomly. This is organized military force conducting operations with intelligence, with targeting, with capability. And both ships sank, both crews forced to abandon, both attacks successful. From Houthi perspective, victory. From shipping perspective, disaster. Fourth, risk normalization trap. Most dangerous concept. Transit through Bab al-Mandeb down 50% from 2023. Suez Canal traffic dropped from 2,068 ships in November 2023 to 877 in October 2024. Major shipping companies avoiding route massive disruption, but recently some shippers returning. Industry sources call this risk normalization. Getting used to threat, accepting risk, calculating that most ships get through safely. Example, Iraqi crude oil exports through Suez to Europe, climbed to 320,000 barrels per day in July 2025, highest since December 2023, before major Houthi campaign. Why return? Because attacks decreased, because most ships transit safely, because avoiding Red Sea is expensive. Extra 11,000 nautical miles, 10 additional days, $1 million, extra fuel cost per voyage. So economic pressure pushes shippers back. Risk normalization says most ships get through, probability of attack is low. We can accept risk, but here is trap. As more ships return, Houthis have more targets, can be more selective, can choose high-value targets, can wait for ships with Israeli connections, can execute precision strikes. And each successful attack proves risk is not normalized, is still real, still deadly, still capable of sinking ships, killing crew. But by then, ship is already sunk, crew is already dead. Company realizes risk was not acceptable, was not normalized, was just miscalculated. This is genius of Houthi strategy. Let shipping return. Let normalization happen. Let companies think threat has diminished. Then strike selectively, effectively, proving threat still exists, still deadly, still controls access. And this creates perfect paradox. If ships avoid Red Sea, Houthis win. They have closed chokepoint. If ships return, Houthis can sink them. They prove capability either way. Houthis control narrative. Fifth, what capability intact actually means. From March to May 2025, US launched Operation Rough Rider, comprehensive offensive campaign against Houthis, over 1,000 targets struck, leadership sites, weapons storage, launch facilities, goal, degrade Houthi military capabilities, reduce threat, restore freedom of navigation. Result, attacks decreased, but capability remained. Long-range missiles still operational, drones still functional, targeting systems still working, intelligence gathering still active. How? Because Houthi weapons are mobile, dispersed, hidden, not in fixed facilities easily destroyed, in caves, in civilian areas, in mobile launchers. And because Iran keeps supplying, weapons transfer continuing, expertise being provided, technology being shared. As long as Iran supports, Houthis maintain capability. Even after 1,000 US strikes, even after sustained campaign, even after massive effort, Houthis still able to sink ships, still able to threaten shipping, still able to control perception. This reveals fundamental problem with military solution to proxy warfare. You can strike proxies, but cannot eliminate capability. As long as sponsor provides support, as long as ideology sustains, as long as strategic value exists. Houthis are valuable to Iran, are demonstrating Iranian reach, are threatening Israeli shipping, are pressuring Western commerce. Why would Iran stop supporting? Why would Houthis stop operating? Sixth, the Israel connection. What Houthis actually targeting? Official Houthi narrative. We attack ships with Israeli connections to support Palestinians, to pressure Israel, to show solidarity. Reality, Houthis attack ships that have visited Israeli ports or are owned by companies doing business with Israel or are perceived to have Israeli links. But Israeli connection is flexible concept, can be interpreted broadly, can include ships that never touched Israeli ports, can include vessels with indirect ownership, can include whatever Houthis decide to include. This creates uncertainty, creates fear, creates disruption, because no shipping company knows if they are target, if their vessels are Israeli connected, if they will be attacked. And this uncertainty is more effective than actual attacks because it affects all shipping, not just Israel, not just direct. All vessels must consider, are we at risk? Should we avoid Red Sea? Should we pay extra insurance? Should we reroute? And this consideration is the victory, is the goal, is the point. Not sinking all ships, but making all ships hesitate, making all companies recalculate, making Red Sea risky. And behind this, Iran, not attacking direct, not involved officially, but supporting, providing weapons, providing intelligence, providing justification, because Iran benefits from Red Sea disruption, benefits from pressure in Israel, benefits from demonstrating power without direct confrontation, benefits from proxy doing work. This is perfection of proxy warfare. Principle stays behind, denies involvement, maintains deniability, while proxy takes action, takes risk, takes blame. And if proxy succeeds, principle benefits. If proxy fails, principle not responsible. If proxy provokes response, principle not targeted. Iran gets strategic advantage without strategic risk through Houthis. Seventh, global chokepoint as leverage. Bab al-Mandeb Strait, 20 miles wide at narrowest point between Yemen and Djibouti, connects Red Sea to Gulf of Aden, gateway to Suez, canal to Mediterranean to Europe. 12% of global trade passes through energy shipments, container, cargo, bulk carriers, essential route. Controlling this choke point or threatening this choke point gives enormous leverage, not military leverage, economic leverage, strategic leverage. You do not need to close strait, just make it risky, just increase insurance costs, just force some ships to reroute, just create uncertainty. And this uncertainty costs trillions. Extra fuel, extra time, extra insurance, extra everything. For every ship that reroutes around Africa, for every company that avoids Red Sea, for every voyage that adds 10 days and $1 million. Multiply this by hundreds of ships, by thousands of voyages, by billions of dollars of cargo. And you see Houthis controlling 12% of global trade with 7 attacks, not through conquest, not through naval superiority, not through military dominance, through perception, through risk, through making choke point dangerous or appear dangerous, which is same thing. Because if companies believe Red Sea is dangerous, they avoid it, regardless of actual risk, regardless of statistical probability, regardless of objective threat. This is power of perception, of strategic uncertainty, of making critical infrastructure unreliable, not through destroying it, through threatening it, through making alternatives seem safer, even if alternative costs more. And this is leverage, real leverage, that affects real economy, real shipping, real trade, that Iran gets through Houthis without firing single shot, without taking single risk, without claiming single responsibility. 8, why silence is stronger than noise. 2024 was loud. 150 attacks, constant activity, maximum pressure. End result, ships rerouted, companies avoided region, US Navy deployed, coalition formed, but also Houthis proved limitations, proved most attacks fail, proved missiles get intercepted, proved drones get shot down, proved capability is less than noise. 2025 is quiet. 7 attacks, minimal activity, strategic selection, and result, 2 ships sunk, 4 dead, companies still avoiding region, transit still down 50%, but also Houthis proved capability, proved they can sink ships when they choose, proved they can kill when they target, proved quiet is not weakness. So what did silence achieve? What did strategic recalibration accomplish? Several things. 1, reduced international attention. Fewer attacks means less media coverage, means crisis seems less urgent, means pressure to respond decreases. 2, preserved resources. Fewer attacks means weapons last longer, means can sustain campaign indefinitely, means no rush to resupply. 3, increased effectiveness, selective targeting means better result, means higher success rate, means each attack counts, means fewer wasted weapons, means more ships actually sunk. 4, maintained uncertainty, cannot predict when attack will come, cannot know which ship is target, cannot feel safe. Just because attacks are rare does not mean route is. And most importantly, demonstrated strategic showed Houthis are not mindless militia, are not firing randomly, are making strategic decisions, are adapting, are quieter. This is maturity of insurgent force, moving from volume to precision, from noise to effectiveness, from proving capability to using capability, from demonstration to operation. 9th, what watch position actually during Gaza ceasefire in 2025? Houthis announced we are taking watch position, monitoring situation, not actively attacking, but watching. This sounds like restraint, sounds like compliance with ceasefire, sounds like Houthis respecting pause. But watch position is threat, is saying we are still here, still monitoring, still capable, still ready to resume at any moment, for any reason. And this threat is effective because shipping companies must assume attack could resume anytime, any ship. So still avoid Red Sea, still pay high insurance, still treat as risky. Watch position cost Houthis nothing. They are not attacking, not expending weapons, not provoking response, just watching, but maintains perception of threat, maintains economic impact, maintains strategic value without risk, without cost, without action. This is perfection of strategic patience, of threat as presence, of capability as deterrent. You do not need to attack constantly, just need to demonstrate you can. When you choose, if you decide. And this if is powerful. This uncertainty is costly. For everyone who must navigate through uncertainty, must price uncertainty, must avoid uncertainty. 10th, why this matters more than recognized. Mainstream media treats Red Sea as regional issue, as Yemen problem, as Houthi situation. Localized, contained, not global crisis. But 12% of global trade is not regional, is global. Affect everyone. Affect and Houthi capability to threaten this trade is not temporary, is not declining, is adapting, is becoming more efficient, more selective, more deadly, while appearing quieter, while generating less attention, while seeming less urgent. This is danger of normalization, of assuming quiet means safe, of thinking fewer attacks means less threat, of believing crisis is ending, when crisis is actually transforming, becoming more dangerous, or more sustainable, more permanent. Because Houthis have found equilibrium. They have found level of activity that maintains pressure on shipping, preserves the resources, avoids overwhelming response, demonstrates capability, serves Iranian interests, sustains strategic value. This equilibrium can continue indefinitely, does not require constant attacks, does not provoke major intervention, does not exhaust resources, just maintains enough threat to keep shipping disrupted, insurance high, route avoided. And this is new normal, not crisis, not peace, something between permanent, low-intensity threat to global choke point that costs trillions, that no one knows how to resolve, that serves Iran, that empowers Houthis, that continues indefinitely. Welcome to silent warfare, where 84% fewer attacks means more dangerous situation, where quiet is strength, not weakness, where perception matters more than reality, where 7 attacks sink 2 ships while 150 attacks sink none. Welcome to proxy warfare PEFTED, where Iran benefits without fighting, where Houthis control without conquering, where global trade route becomes hostage, through threat, through uncertainty, through strategic silence, and shipping companies face choice, pay extra $1 million per voyage to reroute or risk Red Sea and hope you are not one of the 7 targets. One of the 2 ships that sink, one of the 4 crew who die, most choose to pay, to reroute, to avoid. And this choice is the victory, is the goal, is the point, making Red Sea too risky, making global trade seem safer, making global trade adjust. And adjustment is permanent, is new baseline, is accepted reality, that Red Sea is dangerous, that Bab al-Mandeb is threatened, that Yemen controls global choke point, through militia, through Iran, through silence. This is power in modern world, not through conquest, through disruption, not through victory, through uncertainty, not through noise, through strategic silence that sinks ships, that kills crews, that changes global trade while generating less attention, less response, less urgency, because we measure threat by volume, by noise, by frequency. And when volume decreases, we think threat decreased. When noise quiets, we think crisis ended. When frequency drops, we think situation improved. But sometimes quiet means refined strategy. Silence means preserved capability. Fewer attacks mean better targeting. And 84% reduction means not weakness, means sophistication, means learning, means adapting, means becoming more dangerous while appearing quieter. The silence that sinks ships, the quiet that kills, the strategic recalibration that succeeds. This is Red Sea, this is Houthis, this is proxy warfare, this is global choke point under threat. Permanent, sustainable, effective, through silence.